Hey, Edible Lab here. Been a while. Um, Today I'm just going to do another garden tour video. Had to move. Plants are all now being moved and they're well, it's a temporary new location, but I'll go over everything. Haven't got too many new plants yet, but now that the season started to go, I'm looking to get some new plants, continue collecting. Collection never stops. But yeah, let's just get started. This is my rose apple. It's been doing really well in spring. After I got it, took a while to sort of do much, but it's put out a huge amount of growth over the past month, and I believe my last video was about a month and a half ago now, so a lot's changed. It's gotten properly warm now, and everything's really started to get going. So we've got that there. Got some other stuff, dragon fruit cutting that I received from a friend. This is American Beauty, I believe. And it looks like it's got some, scale on it, but I can't seem to remove it. But it's putting on some growth, finally. So that's probably had that for a number of months. Might be 6 months now. Got some other interesting things here. These are just coffee seedlings that I grew. This is a pear I grew from seed. It's got really nice purple leaves. And yeah, it properly lost its leaves and then shot out again in spring, so it's kind of exciting. This is an Australian native, a plum pine. So it's actually a type of pine tree that makes a fruit that you can eat, which tastes okay. Not a huge amount of flavour, but I just thought I'd try grow it from seed, and yeah, it's worked. Took months for that to germinate. This is some cardamom, some avocado seedlings. Got to go through and maybe cull some plants. These are some chilies I brought from the old place that I had. It's a habanero, I think. It's a bird's eye chili. Chestnut, this I grew from seed as well. This one woke up quite early and is, putting on nice new growth. I have 2 other seedlings, but they've been slower. Mango, this one I grew from seedling as well. Lost the label for this one, but I'm pretty sure it's a Kensington Pride or an R2E2. This was one of the first mangoes I grew from seed. Ice cream bean, I pruned it just a few days ago. It was out there going for the moon. I've got problems with this guy. He just grows too fast, and to have him in a pot. If I put him in the ground though, he'll just go insane. And I don't really have anywhere to put it in the ground, so I'll just prune it back, let it get the trunk size up a bit more, and maybe at some point I'll try. I think I want to have a go at air layering it. More coffee seedlings, guava seedlings, Zolongan I grew from seed. This is over a year old now, very slow growing. If you're going to grow a longan, buy a marcotted or air layered one. You'll get fruit much quicker, and your fruit will be good. But I just did this for fun. Another mango seedling, I believe this is from a honey gold. This one's doing quite well. Some apricots I grew from seed last summer. Yellow Gibberella Carba is actually coming back slowly but surely. This is all dead, it all died back, but it's shot up from the ground again. Some other various seedlings, pomegranate, some nectarine from the tree at the old place, it's doing okay. Jackfruit. This is native appleberry. That the seeds took a lot longer than I thought to germinate, but I'm pretty sure it's appleberry, which is a type of little creeping vine that makes a fruit that looks somewhat like a kiwi or a kiwi berry, but tastes like a bit of an apple. It's another Australian native plant. And the more pear seedlings, various stuff in here. The interesting stuff is over on the other side, so we'll go around and have a look. The native Atherton raspberry, one of the native Australian raspberries. This has been doing well. It's produced 1 fruit I find, well, it's got another fruit here that's gonna ripen up. This thing is strange because it always puts on a lot of growth and then goes into a funk and dies back. And I don't know whether it's because it gets too much water or not enough water. The potting mix in it really needs to probably be repotted. The mix in here is crap. That's probably part of the problem. My largest loquat seedling, I chopped the top off it in the hope that it will branch out, and then I'm going to graft onto it. Another chestnut seedling, another chestnut seedling. Wampy is flowering. Well, the flowers haven't opened yet, but it's pushed out this panicle covered in flower buds. The ants keep on getting onto it, and then the flower buds drop off really easily. Probably because it's a bit too small to support it, but it's doing alright. This is the... oh, you cannot see it, but it's the Yeem Pei from Dailies. And yeah, it's put on this growth. It's looking pretty good. Then we've got the Jumbalun Plum, or the Jamun. This is doing really well now as well. Once it started getting warm, it's pushed out some new growth and it's looking okay. Feijoa, pineapple guava. I grew this from seed. This is a bit over a year old and it's putting on more growth. Finger lime. This one at least is doing well. It's put on a lot of new growth. It's flowered. I haven't really checked if it's got fruit. It may not have set fruit, but it's put on a load of new growth. As you can see, the new growth is purple, red coloured. This is the appleberry I'm talking about. I really need to put it in a new pot. So it's got some of the flowers on there. That's the remnant of the flower, and then the flower sort of comes off to reveal there's the berry. But from my experience, these won't be ready for... well, when I bought it, it had fruit on it already, and the fruit wasn't ripe until autumn. So perhaps late summer to autumn is when I can expect that. These taro, and it grew so much I've already had to split it up out of that pot, and I've now turned one plant into 5. Jackfruit seedling. This is a seedling of the Galaxy variety. I managed to get it through winter thanks to a potting mix that's very well draining. I had a jackfruit last winter and it died from root rot, but this one's going okay and it's pushing out growth. It's growing really well. One of my 2 white sapote seedlings, planning to graft onto this eventually when I get scions. The other one's growing a bit more. I think I put these, well, it kind of in the same mix as the jackfruit, but it's too well draining. I think these need more organic matter in the soil. But jackfruit don't really like that much. Got a lot of liliums, or Asiatic oriental lilies, that I have. I like the flowers. Here we got the Australian native black apple. It's in the sapote family, but it's native to Australia, also native to Sydney area. This thing it just doesn't really stop growing, and I've only had this bit over a year and a, maybe close, not even a year and a half, and it's, gone from probably that big to being now over a meter tall, and it just keeps on growing. It's got all these branches. It's considerably fast growing. Doesn't care about the cold, obviously, because it's native to the area, and doesn't care about the heat either much. And that thing's meant to grow into a huge tree, so I'm now figuring out what I'm exactly going to do with it. This is my white sapote, the grafted one I have, Kampong. It's a real disappointment, to be honest. This has done absolutely nothing. It's tried to flower, and I've removed the flower buds each time in the hope that it will grow. When it did start finally pushing some growth, a tree branch fell on it and knocked off the exact part where the new shoot was, and it has not done a single thing. But it is alive. Maybe I'll repot it. Maybe I'll give it a bunch of fertilizer, and we'll see if anything happens. Otherwise, there's a few more things to look at that are interesting. I've got here the Brazilian guava, Psidium guineense. that I recently did a taste test on after first getting my first fruit. It dropped all its leaves after spring started, making me think that this is actually semi-deciduous, unlike the regular guava. So it dropped every single leaf, and it shot out all this new growth, all these new leaves. They have a very nice, soft feeling. And not only that, a lot of the new growth has flower buds. So this thing is going to flower again, but much earlier. It flowered late before, which is why I got the fruit only about a month ago. It flowered in around April, I think, but now we're obviously going to get early flowering, and I don't know if I'll let it set fruit. I kind of want it to grow and grow bigger. It's still really small, and it was impressive that it was able to set fruit and actually ripen that fruit at this size. But it's got so many flowers on it now. It only had 2 flowers, and the 2 flowers both set a fruit, but right now it's probably got 15 or so flower buds. The flowers have a really nice smell. Smells almost like you could turn it into the scent of a perfume or a candle. It's that kind of complex kind of aroma. But yeah, I don't know if I'll let it fruit at this time, and maybe it'll flower again at the end of summer, and I can get fruit and avoid the fruit fly like I did last time, because I think if it fruited now, might have problems with that. Second white sapote seedling. This guy hasn't skipped a beat. It's doing well, pushing out all this new growth. I'll have to top it eventually, just so it will start branching and I can graft. Blueberry has set some fruit. This is a subtropical variety. Sunshine Blue, I think. Finger lime. This is the one I've had for a long time, and it's just still not doing anything, still alive. It's got like no leaves, but I've been watering the hell out of it, put it in full sun, because now I finally know that's kind of what they want, but still yet to do anything, that finger lime. Anyway, we shall press on. Various things here. Another, move that more into shade. Dragon fruit cutting from a white dragon fruit. Jackfruit seedlings. I don't think I had a single one that died over winter. They all survived. Most of them I had in the greenhouse. Oh, something on there. But they've all survived, basically. So now I have a ridiculous amount of jackfruit seedlings. Achachairu seedling. It's a small one. They are very, very slow growing. More jackfruit. My largest coffee seedling. This one's over a year old now, and it's slow growing. Very slow, but it's pushing new growth. Coolamon. The Australian native syzygium. Yeah, related to the lily pilly, but it's not a lily pilly. Yeah, it's cauliflorus, ramiflorus. Anyway, it flowers like on the branches and fruits. It makes size like a small apple, white, pure white fruit that tastes, to me, a little bit like a green apple. I've tried one before. In here I have one of my 2 Chrysophyllum imperialis, imperial star apple. They're doing alright. They both got through winter. One was outside unprotected, no damage. One of them I had in the greenhouse, and that one's doing a bit better. It just kind of grew more, was the difference. There's an orchid there. This one's, I think, a type of native orchid. Then the abius. They're outside now, and they're doing fine, even though we've had a few dips to cold temperatures. Earlier in, a few weeks ago, I think we got down to 10 degrees or something. But we haven't gone below 10, so these guys are fine, and they are growing. They're growing just fine. The eternal battle with the abiu is the scale. Oh my god, the scale on these things. It's so annoying. Wasabi, they're all doing well. Pitomba had its leaves eaten a bit, but it's doing okay. Here we've got the Quaimuk. Yeah, this thing didn't skip a beat. I thought it's meant to be semi-deciduous, but it's yet to drop. I mean, it might have dropped one leaf, and now it's already like, okay, we're going now. It's just growing. So this thing's a beast. My only problem is it's like quite big, and I'm worried that it's just gonna grow up and up and up. So I may have to prune it back at some point. Yeah, but that's I guess a problem for the future. Here we've got Cherry of the Rio Grande, which didn't really do that much. It's had its leaves eaten too. Looks very similar to Pitomba, but it's got buds. It's gonna shoot new leaves. Here we have the giant Lau Lau, Syzygium megacarpa, or Eugenia sometimes it's called, but it's really a Syzygium. This thing was unprotected, meant to not like temperatures, meant to be quite tropical. It's from like the Pacific, like areas like, that are, very tropical, but didn't take any damage, cold damage, virtually no cold damage. And it's finally pushing some new leaves, which are going to be these nice big ones, and they're red at first too. What else can I show you in here? Soursop. This guy's doing good too. Yeah, he dropped a considerable amount of leaves, but it basically almost never stopped growing. That's a bad angle, but it's keeping on growing. It's doing okay. I may consider if I want to repot it or not. Yeah, I feel like Annona seems to do okay in Sydney. This was semi-protected, and so was the Poshti, which is meant to be more tropical than Soursop, and it's doing well. Look how much growth it's pushing. It dropped a fair few leaves, but yeah, it's been shooting out all this new growth. And so hopefully that grows back and does something well. Grimachama, my small orange Grimachama, has got a bud. It's very slow growing at this point in time. Let's come around. Some of the larger jackfruit seedlings. These ones I might look to try and graft on eventually, or whenever I'm able to find scions. My Grimmel. It's hard to tell the difference between this and that, but this is the Grimmel Jaboticaba. I have two grafts on it. This one it's not that the graft took, it's put out a shoot below the graft, but I actually have a feeling that it may work because can I even show you? The buds are in there and it looks like they're swelling a little bit. So who knows? There's a chance that it might work, which I would be very surprised if it did. And there's another graft in here, which is hard to tell if it's going to work or not. This one may have not taken. Star Apple, it's also doing fine, but it was semi-protected over the winter, didn't drop leaves, and it's just growing now. Growing. Gradually, but slowly but surely, really. Acerola, finally, after we've had some proper hot weather, the Acerola is starting to push new leaves. Even though this thing has pretty good cold tolerance for Sydney, it takes a long time before it wakes up. This is my other Imperial Star Apple. Just look at the leaves on a tiny little seedling, like 30 centimeters tall. It's doing pretty well. This is a kiwi berry. I thought was dead, but it shot back. It even put out a flower. Not that I think it's going to fruit. This is the Issai variety. It's meant to be the only kiwi berry variety, or one of the only ones that's actually partially self-fertile. But again, this is a vine, so I already, it's already starting to climb onto this bush, and I don't know what to do with it, really. I'll have to find some way of dealing with that. We've got some pineapples back here. They're doing fine. This one gone a bit yellow, perhaps. But it's very solid in there. I think they're pretty hard to kill. This is my grafted Sabra Jaboticaba. It put out a huge flush of growth in in early spring, or in early September really, but it hasn't done anything since then. The other ones have, I mean, the Grimmel did too. That's all that was the new growth. The Grimmel looks like it's, yeah, at some point I think the Grimmel will send out a new flush soon, but this might take a while. Anyway, I got some other little seedlings in there. A little seedling Suriname cherry, that one there on the right, and then that's a Davidson plum, Australian native, and then another coffee. My second Pitomba, this one's doing better. It got less eaten and pushed out some new leaves, but it's just very small still, so slow growing. Just got some other random stuff here, some Thai basil I picked up recently, other stuff. Then we've got the Morang, the 2 Morang that survived Sydney winter. It's kind of hard to understate how surprised I am, and that's pretty impressive to me, that I was able to get 2 of however many I had, maybe close to, 8 or something by the time winter started, of these to survive. They're an extremely tropical relative of the jackfruit, and somehow 2 of these plants, which were seedlings, they're seedlings that were grown, that I received, I picked them up in February from someone in the Sydney fruit gardening community who brought these seeds back from Queensland, from far north Queensland, from a fruit that they ate, and then they germinated the seeds, but they couldn't really do anything with them, so they were just giving them away, and I picked them up, and we have these 2 that are somehow still alive. This one has actually started to push new growth. You can see there, it's pushing new leaves, and this one is also pushing slightly, and I'm just being careful. I mean, if they die, they die, but I'm pretty impressed just by the fact that I was able to get these through a winter, and we'll see how much they grow in the summer, or if they survive the summer. Then we got some other stuff here. These are some Grimmel Jaboticaba seedlings. Another one, some mango, got a lot of mango, so that I'm going to grow from seed and graft onto is the plan. Atamoya from last summer. Rillinia seedlings. I need to split these up now, but we've had a pretty decent germination rate with the first batch. This is I believe a Sapodilla seedling, and it's growing solid. Was outside unprotected during winter, no damage. A Cha-Cha seedling, one of the larger ones. Another jackfruit. Then we got the Plinia Phytrantha costada Jaboticaba. It's got some new leaves there, it's pushing out. I pruned this, it was much more bushy, and I made the decision to prune it. Instead of having new growth come out all at the bottom, I've decided to prune it to shape how I think you're meant to sort of prune a Jaboticaba, which is to have the, a nice section of trunk, because once it gets mature, the trunk is where the majority of the fruit's going to be produced. Tamarind. This guy's yet to wake up. It's still got some leaves. This is the only remaining leaves on it. It dropped basically all its leaves throughout winter, but I think it's gonna push new growth soon. It's got all these buds on there, so I believe it's gonna wake up soon. Rillinia somehow survived the winter. It wasn't looking good. It's dropped basically all its leaves. It's got 2 leaves left from before the winter. It's got this branch here. This one didn't really take any damage and is shooting out, but all on the trunk now. We've finally got these nice new growth pushing out all over. It did experience a bit of dieback at the tip, but I don't think it's going to worry about that. So I'm excited to see how much this will grow. This is another Australian native plant, another Australian fruiting plant. It's called a native currant. It's pushing out new growth now that it's gotten warmer. This is not from the Sydney area. I think it's from a more subtropical climate, but it's doing okay. Then I've got my Suriname cherries. They're all doing all right, pushing out growth. They were one of the first to wake up alongside, the Sabra Jaboticaba. Speaking of Jaboticaba, here's my red hybrid. It's unlike the Sabro where it just put out one flush, this dude is just sort of gradually putting new leaves out. So it's just going, oh, here's some new leaves, some more new leaves down there. I had problems, some caterpillars are going on there and eating the leaves, which is really frustrating. Then I've got my wax jambu, and this guy didn't do anything forever. I think he stopped doing anything February, March, like around late summer, early autumn. He just stopped doing anything, and then finally it's woken up. Finally, in October, it woke up and it's pushing new leaves. But this thing is extremely fast growing. It's in this big pot, and it's already filled the bottom with the roots. I don't know what to do with this because it grows so fast. I'm thinking of taking some air layers of it, and then, yeah, perhaps I'll sell those or distribute them around. I would really like to plant it in the ground, but it's going to grow big, so I don't know if I have the luxury of being able to do that at the moment. But I'm just happy to see it finally growing, because I was like, it stayed green, didn't take damage over winter outside, but just hadn't grown. Alright, coming around, just the last few plants now. Got a few things. Leuceutia, still not done anything, and it's died back a bit. I scraped the trunk and it is green down there. Down here, it's green still. So it's still alive, supposedly, but I don't know if it's going to make it. I've just got it here in a position which will be warm, but shaded, but I don't know if it's going to come back or not. This is a Monstera I've taken cuttings of to see if I can propagate it. Guava air layer. Very early on, the leaves all sort of started shriveling up and dying, so I cut them off. I cut it down. It's still fine because it had a healthy root system, and you can see, it might be very hard to show, but it has got some buds on it. It has got buds that are very small, but that shows that it's going to survive. There we go. Look, there's a bud there. So it's going to push leaves out, and it will have survived, which is great. That'll be a success. Something that wasn't a success, though, is my Sapodilla, Crassui Marcotte, or air layer. I repotted it. It had not many roots, but it had a few healthy roots that were growing, and then I potted it into this pot with a new, better, well-draining mix. The other mix was not well-draining enough. And then it was going okay. It had these few leaves on this, and then it's gradually dropped the leaves. It still has buds there. This part is definitely dead. But if it had some healthy roots still there, then it may survive. Like I said, it still has a bud on there, so maybe it will survive. We can do a little scratch test. It's still green under there. You can see a bit of green. So it may come back. I'm hoping it will, with warmer weather. I'm hoping, because that was not a cheap death if it doesn't make it. Another mango seedling. It took a bit of damage over winter, I think, anthracnose. A couple pineapples. Midgeonberry, another Australian native. It's finally put on a good amount of growth. Another type of midgeonberry, different species. It's actually put out flowers. Did this one have flower buds too? It does, it's just harder to see. Yeah, it's got little flower buds there. I've tasted the fruit of this species. I think they're meant to be very similar, but it was nice. A little bit like a blueberry kind of taste. This is one of my larger citrus seedlings. It was just a volunteer that came up in the garden maybe 2 years ago, and I potted it up. It's got some wicked thorns on it. I think it's somewhat related to a lemon or a lime. That kind of... It looks a bit more like a lime, but yeah, it'd be exciting to see this grow. Loquat, this is the one I grafted on. I grafted Nagasaki Wase onto it. There's the graft. It's been going okay. It's looking good, so it's exciting. Starfruit over the past week has lost all its leaves. Hopefully it comes back, because it's not looking too good down there. Perhaps it looks like some of it's rotted away. Again, that's what I get for using, this was a long time ago, and I just used regular crappy store-bought potting mix. Now I sort of mix in other things like sand and peat moss, perlite occasionally to improve the drainage, but that, yeah, we'll see. This one has been finicky. It's never really done well, never really got going. I think it's just should have been, maybe it's better to have grown starfruit in the ground. Another few things there, jackfruit seedlings, more cha-cha seedlings, another Coolerman there. We got some more avocado seedlings here, a Davidson plum that I have. This one I'm planning to plant in the ground soon. Cranberry hibiscus, this is a cutting I received from someone. It's been very slow to do much, but it's gradually getting roots. I want this one, yeah, I just kind of want to collect some interesting hibiscus varieties, or species I should say. And then this one you can eat the leaves. Well, most of them you can. A lot of them you can. My Canistel, I don't know how it's going. The soil seems very wet. I've been avoiding watering it too much, so I was a bit afraid it might have got root rot, because it just was starting to drop leaves after it started, you know, after we got into spring. Got into a bit of a funk. Like the leaves would sort of turn like this and then drop, but it's still got leaves. And it's actually, now that it's gotten warm, if I can show you, it is starting to push growth. There. And other places. I have done 2 grafts onto these. I've received 2 scions, 2 spare scions from Ben at Sydney Fruit Gardening. One of an E4 Abiu, which is here, I grafted on here, and one of a Bruno Canistel that I grafted on here. I don't think the Bruno has worked. It doesn't really look like anything's happening, and I grafted these like a month ago. However, well, I don't know if the Abiu's worked either, but the scion's still green, I've noticed. It's probably impossible to see here, but it's green. That's green there. That is green still. And it looks green kind of near the top too, so I don't know. It'd be funny if the Canistel fails but the Abiu takes, but I don't really expect either of them to take with my, amateur grafting skills. Anyway, that's sort of a long time coming tour of the plants and the garden and everything that's going on. Yeah, that's basically everything. Soon I'll maybe get some new plants and show off what those are like. Definitely want to get a few more. I'm looking to get a few more Annonas. I've got a video in the works where I'll show off some grafts I did. My parents' property, which is in a much, not out of Sydney, but I've done some apple grafting, and some of those have already taken, so hopefully more of them take, and I can show some more of those in a video soon when I'm able to get around there. But otherwise, that's really all for now, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then.